Hey everyone, this is Laura Gadenik with Laura Gadenik Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of July 25th through August 7th, 2022. So, the next couple weeks are big ones. Not gonna lie, this is a time of year that all other astrologers have marked on their calendars as being intense, and that is because we have Mars making a conjunction with Uranus and Taurus, and Mercury making a square to the two, as well as an opposition to Saturn. So it's going to be intense. However, before we get to those aspects, I want to start off with today, Monday the 25th. We have Venus in Cancer making a square to Jupiter in Aries. Now, it's likely you have felt this energy since the moment that Venus entered Cancer last week. I can't exactly remember what day, but it was sometime this past week, and these are the two benefics in astrology. Venus and Jupiter bring good fortune, abundance, generosity, good times, pleasure. And with these two planets coming together in a square aspect, it's likely that you felt it in the way of being too much, excess, spending too much money, eating too many sweets or treats or whatever. Indulging in pleasures. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Sometimes I think it's healthy and positive and good to indulge and to, it's fine. It's totally fine. Like, eat your bowl of ice cream, eat that piece of cake, go buy those earrings that you have been wanting that are really beautiful. Spend money on beautiful experiences and pleasure. Absolutely fine. The only caution I would put here is, if you're like broke and you don't want to spend like $200 or $300 on something you can't afford, right? Or if you're trying to be like healthier or lose weight for whatever reason, it's just leading up to today. It's just might have felt a bit more difficult, and it might be more difficult to be discerning. In what you choose to indulge in. But I just say enjoy it. This past week I spent a week in Cabo with my family, and I definitely ate so much delicious food, ate dessert like every single night, had like multiple drinks, like I drank way more alcohol than I normally do. I spent way more money than I normally do. It was definitely a week of excess, and I had a great time, So, although I do regret spending a little bit too much money, but otherwise, it was totally fine. So Tuesday the 26th, tomorrow, Mercury in Leo makes a square to Mars and Taurus. This is when the drama kind of begins. Mercury is the planet of the mind, of communications, of how we communicate with others. It's the planet of exchanges and buying and selling, the marketplace. And Mars is the god of war, conflict, severing, things that are sharp, going its own way, independence. So this might, there could be harsh words exchanged. There might be some conflict. You might have more of a sharp tongue, or those around you might have more of a sharp tongue. You might be very mentally busy. There might be a lot of work you have to do mentally. But, it doesn't, I want to say that these kind of more tense aspects, they don't necessarily have to show up in your life in particular or specifically. It might show up in the people around you. It might show up in your community. It might show up more in the world at large. All astrology doesn't impact everyone the same way or with the same intensity. It really depends on how these transits are hitting your natal planets in your personal birth chart. So if you have personal planets, namely sun, moon, or rising sign, Mars, Venus would also be impactful as well. If you have any personal planets between, say, 15 to 21 degrees of the fixed sign, so this is Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo, you will feel this. You will feel this a lot more. If you have no planets at these points at all, you might feel it a little bit. You might feel a little more irritated or irritable, but it's not going to be a big deal for you. So I just want to put that out there. So Yeah, just being mindful. You might just have a sharper tongue, but it doesn't have to be a huge deal. Okay, Thursday the 28th, we have a beautiful new moon in Leo at 5 degrees of Leo, trining Jupiter. This is really lovely. New moons are times of beginnings, times to plant seeds, times to start things. And with Jupiter here, making the trine to Jupiter, it's very auspicious. It's, Jupiter is a planet about abundance, things going well. So plant seeds around topics that are in the house that has Leo in it. That's going to be your best bet. So for me, for instance, Leo is my third house of communications, writing, communicating in general, my local community, learning, local transportation, things of that nature. So I might be doing a lot of writing this week, for instance, or maybe I would set the intention to write a long article on astrology or something like that. Jupiter is stationing retrograde on this day. So Jupiter will be retrograding through Aries until October. And then Jupiter will re-enter Pisces for 6 weeks. And then Jupiter will come back into Aries in late December, I believe. So just something to note that Jupiter is retrograding on the 28th. And so that'll be a time period where we will be reviewing the territory that Jupiter has just traveled through since let's see, when was it? It was May that Jupiter entered Aries. So, but that's kind of if you know what house that has Aries on the cusp and where Jupiter has traveled through, those topics and areas of life will be kind of revisited over the next few months. Okay, Thursday the 28th, same day as the new moon and Jupiter stationing retrograde, we also have Mercury squaring Uranus. Once again, Mercury being a planet about the mind, communication, travel, local travel in particular, buying and selling, the marketplace. You might get some surprising news on this day or a surprising message. There might be a turn of events because of this news or messages. You might have really innovative or creative ideas that you might want to kind of get going on or act upon. I would say, the marketplace, like trades and stocks are probably going to be all over the place on this day, most likely. Drastic ups and downs, very likely. So, and you might also, Mercury being the planet of the mind, you might just want to engage in a new topic or a new idea that's very interesting or different or outside of the box of what you normally talk about with someone, or something you might want to read or watch or consume in some way, something different than what you normally read, watch, or consume in the media. So that's the 28th. Sunday the 31st, Mercury does make an opposition to Saturn. So Saturn is a planet about boundaries, about difficulty, about also, things that take a long time and age. Saturn rules over time and age. So this might be a day where you're getting told no by something or someone. You might set a boundary with someone, or someone might set a boundary with you. You might have to work hard at something mentally. Once again, if for me, it might be writing something that takes a very long time. Or putting your mind to something challenging. You might have to have a difficult conversation with someone, and this might be related to that Mercury square Mars on Tuesday the 26th. It might be related, it might not be related. It could go either way. And you might have to revisit something hard or difficult with someone, maybe from the past. Maybe not just from this past week, but maybe from several weeks ago or months ago. Either way, the 31st feels kind of like a difficult day. It can feel maybe a bit depressive or isolating. So, I would say reach out to a friend, find community, don't suffer alone. Could be a good day for some writing. Take some solitude, but also don't totally isolate yourself if you can help it. On the same day, the 31st, Venus in Cancer does make a square to Chiron, the asteroid of woundedness and pain, Venus being a planet about relationships. So This could bring up some pain in relationships to be looked at and hopefully healed. The pain could be related to women in your life, Venus being a planet about women. So friends or, mother, because Venus is in Cancer, Cancer being a sign about mother or family, wound related to family issues, or simply the house that Venus is traveling through. So whichever house that has Cancer on the cusp. Same day, the 31st, the sun is making a trine to Jupiter. So this might help things. This might actually help matters. This might make the Mercury opposite to Saturn less difficult or less challenging. However, the sun and Mercury are in the same sign in Leo, but Jupiter is in a different sign in Aries than Saturn. Saturn's in Aquarius. So this could, what I'm getting at is this could be a transit about a different part of life, right? So you might on Sunday the 31st have to have a difficult conversation with someone, be getting told no in some area of life, while in another area of life you might have a piece of good fortune or good news or good results coming through, because the sun trine Jupiter is about something good coming through, an opportunity, good fortune. So once again, it's kind of like, oh, there's a challenging aspect on this day and there's a really positive aspect on this day. Well, both good and bad things happen in one day all the time, and so that might be just one of those days. Okay. So moving forward, on Monday, August 1st, this is the big one, Mars conjoins Uranus and Taurus at 18 degrees. Once again, this is going to impact fixed signs the most, particularly if you have planets or points at between 15 to 21 degrees of the fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. Mars is a planet about our action, how we take action, how we go about doing things, our anger, how we fight and defend. And Uranus is a planet of unexpected events, chaos, change, drastic change, revolution. So this could be a time where you might have some unexpected anger come through. It might feel a bit chaotic. You might suddenly want to do something that you've been holding back on or hesitant about. It can be a bit of an impulsive day, so be mindful of that. Be careful of overdoing something. This is definitely an aspect about that could result in accidents. So just be careful on this day. The last time that Mars entered Taurus was January 6th of 2021, which was the raid on the Capitol. I don't want to scare anyone because that doesn't help anything or anyone. And clearly that didn't happen this year when Mars entered Taurus a few weeks ago. However, it kind of gives you the flavor of what, the kinds of things that could happen with Mars being in Taurus in the same sign as Uranus. So yeah, I'm curious to see what happens internationally, nationally, in your personal life. Please leave comments in the comment box if you're so inclined. I do think that it could be possible that this transit be more productive or more positive, because the next day, Tuesday, August 2nd, Venus is making a sextile to these two. Sextiles are aspects that are of the nature of Venus. They're easeful, they're supportive, they're good. And not only that, but Venus rules over the sign of Taurus, which is where Mars and Uranus are conjoining. So Venus is really lending a hand here. She's helping out. So that's kind of making me think that this aspect might not be as chaotic or intense or crazy as it might otherwise be. And Venus is a planet about relationships, connection, love, romance, attraction, pleasure, good time. So it could also be there might be some like unexpected romance or an unexpected fun or good time. Doing something you wouldn't normally do that is pleasurable or for pleasure. Like maybe you're like, I want to get a tattoo and you've never gotten a tattoo before. Or, I want to get like my eyebrow pierced or something like that. Something that's like aesthetically pleasing or about style or expression that maybe involves like piercing, right? Mars ruling over things that are sharp and that are piercing. So, at the same day, Tuesday the 2nd, the moon is in Libra. The moon rules over the mood of the day, and Libra is a sign about relationships and pleasure, and Libra also is ruled by Venus. So it feels kind of like a more of a Venusian day or time period where these kind of unexpected events or unexpected drive might be more about Venusian topics: pleasure, beauty, love, attraction, romance, maybe whatever house that Venus rules for you. If you don't know what that means and you want a reading, I can explain what that means. So yeah, I'm curious how that will go for folks. It might be a little bit of a combination of both. Like for some people, it might be more on the chaotic, intense, more negatively experienced side. And for others, it might be on the more like positive, like unexpected fun side of things. So, okay, Thursday the 4th, Mercury heads into Virgo, a sign where it is exalted and dignified. This means that Mercury, planet of the mind and communications, is able to do its job very well. Mercury in Virgo likes to put order to things, likes to sift and sort through the chaos and provide structure. And Mercury will be here until August 25th. So this is a really excellent time period to organize. Organize your bookshelves, your clothes, your inventories, get rid of whatever you don't need. Sift through your responsibilities, your priorities, and kind of organize what you want to do first. It's a very good analytical organizational placement for Mercury. Okay. Sunday the 7th, also one of those days that are kind of like a mixed bag. Venus in Cancer makes a trine to dreamy Neptune. And at the same time, Mars and Uranus makes a square to Saturn. So this is kind of like, a positive aspect and a negative aspect. Which one is going to kind of take over the other? Or will we experience a good thing and a more challenging thing? Venus trine Neptune is very romantic and lovely. Venus trine Neptune wants you to cozy up with someone, watch a movie, drink a glass of wine, maybe get lost in some sort of creative flow. Find flow via the arts. Neptune is a very mystical planet about other worlds and altered states of mind. So it's like meditation and things that get you to a Zen state of mind or like an altered state of mind through like alcohol, right? Could be both. There's this kind of romantic sense or feel to the day. However, at the same time, Mars is making a square to Saturn. Mars is a planet about stepping on the gas. Saturn is a planet about stepping on the brakes. So this is kind of like push and pull energy. Mars wants to go, go, go. Saturn says, wait, stop. So this kind of feels like running a marathon, like sustained effort, right? Saturn is like, this is going to take a long time. We're going to be doing this for a while. And Mars is like, we got to go right now, right? So sustained effort and energy. And there might be some conflict between these two areas of life for you, whatever area of life or whatever area in the chart that has Taurus on the cusp and whatever area of the chart that has Aquarius on the cusp. There might be some sort of inner conflict, right? Mars is where you want to go. Mars is where your energy is directed. However, Saturn is where you have responsibility and or duty. So that's kind of maybe where the inner conflict might emerge. You might want to go over here, do this thing over here. However, you have to be over there. Like you have to attend to this, right? So it's just a matter of kind of compromising and making both work in a way. Mars and Taurus is also in a place where we're focused more on the body, on the sensual experience, sensual pleasures, our physical experience. And Saturn is in Aquarius, a sign that is more focused on the intellect, on the mind, on what we hold ideologically, what our ideals are. So you might even find some inner tension between those two broader topics of like wanting to focus more on like physical, earthly activities or things, while your mind might be preoccupied in a more like intellectual way. So anyway, yeah, Sunday the 7th might be kind of a combo of both, and I would highly recommend you to do both, right? Like Mars square Saturn wants you to work really, 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 really hard on something, but then Venus trine Neptune wants you to chill out and relax and have a good time. So if you can, find time for both aspects, you know, have a right, so to speak, to be expressed. And if you don't do it consciously, they'll do it to you. Trust me. So the Mars-Saturn square will be most felt by, once again, fixed signs, this time between 19 to 25 degrees of the fixed signs, which are Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. And if you're confused about what that means or what any of this astrology terminology means, I'm happy to do a reading with you and go over these in more detail. I will eventually be making a video about the aspects and what they mean. So yeah, but please reach out if you're curious about a reading. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful next 2 weeks. Make the most of the energy. There's a lot of intense energy, and there is some good stuff too, right? It's kind of a mixed bag, but this is definitely one of the more active and intense times of the whole year. So keeping that in mind, be careful. These next 2 weeks are weeks to be careful. Don't overdo it. Don't act impulsively. Think before speaking. Yeah, those are some good tips that I will leave you with, and I hope you have a wonderful next 2 weeks. Okay, bye.